首先，这个活儿本身应该是孙哥和黄哥的啊，但是我被拉上来了。首先非常感谢大家百忙之中能抽出时间来西安看 StarsWar。然后我还是那句话，哪个 dead game 能有这么多人来现场看？然后明年的话，希望 StarsWar 能一直办下去，而且隔壁听说还有个1万人的场馆，不知道黄哥会不会吹毛啊？到明年的时候。然后也首先感谢 WE， 然后我尽量少说2句吧，因为马上希望大家也能看到精彩的比赛。去年拿到世界冠军的时候，其实有很多没有看星际的朋友，然后后边也关注了星际争霸。很多人都说我可能拿世界冠军之后没有动力去继续去争冠了，可能今年成绩也不是特别好，但是我还是那句话，就是至少，我觉得在我退役之前，如果说第一个冠军是为了自己，那么第2个世界冠军的目标就是为了。所有观众为了星际付出过青春的各位吧，我会以这个目标再去努力拿第2个冠军的，谢谢大家。
现场以及屏幕前的观众朋友们，大家下午好，我是今天的主持人赤小兔。凭热爱共传奇，这里是由西安曲江 WE 电子竞技俱乐部、未来电视、达波电竞、星际老男孩 SCBoy 联合主办的 StarsWar 星际争霸2线下赛的比赛直播现场。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings. I'm, of course, VIP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing people in the stands. Oh my god, Bappy. Oh my god. Shout out, of course, to the people working behind this event. Welcome, everyone, to StarsWar 11. All these lovely sponsors as well that are being shouted out as we speak. And yes, StarsWar 11 is an event that did begin a couple of months ago. It did begin at the start of the year. We did cast every single qualifier for StarsWar 11, and then we went on a break. StarsWar 11 did go on a break, just waiting for the event, or just waiting for EPT Spring and GSL and WTL and all these events to kind of get going and wrap up, and now we're back. Now we have a weekend where we can indulge in this major event. Again, this event is an offline event happening in China, and we have the best of the best. We have Maru, Spirit, Showtime, Gumiho, Firefly, Hero, Oliveira, and Skillus. They've all been, or they all qualified, they've all made it to the land of China. They're all there at the main event, and we have 4 best of 5s. We have 4 best of 5s lying before us. But we might have some content. Oh, let's go. Yo, who are we introducing? Oliveira? Maru? I think Maru's playing first. Let's have a look.
接下来，让我们
The
用
intro
最热烈的
back.
掌声和呐喊声，请出我们今天参赛
The
的
intro, you do love to see it. Again, we have 8 players here. We have Terrans, we have Protoss. For those who do not know, we do not have any Zerg players. The Zerg players failed to qualify for this event. And you can see our lovely players walking on stage here. If you've been tuning into Twitter and Instagram, you would have seen there was a lot of posts made when the players arrived, when they were eating together as well over the past week. And now they're all here for our major event. Well, give it up for Spirit.
接下来，让我们欢迎来自
赛区的
神族选手
Skills. Yo, is that a new teal jersey?
接下来，让我们欢迎
I've
来
never
自
seen
欧美
that.
赛区的神族选手 Showtime。
Oh, showtime. It's our boy. Oh.
让我们欢迎来自亚洲赛区的神族选手 Firefly。
Fireflies are getting qualified through the Asia qualifiers, for those who don't know. Firefly did make it into the
接下来，让我
event.
们把掌声送给我们的直腰人族选手 Oliveira。
Oliveira was invited as he is the reigning world champion. The reigning IEM world champion in StarCraft.
接下来，让我们欢迎来自韩国赛区的人族选手 Gumiho。
Gumiho. We need to zoom in on the towel later.
下一位是来自韩国赛区的神族选手 Hero。
The hero with the chain.
最后，把掌声送给来自韩国赛区的人族选手 Maru。
Maru.
好的，感谢我们现场观众。
Love that it looks like they also took player shots while they were there. There was some behind the scenes. There was some behind the scenes like photos of them doing player shoots and getting ready a couple of days ago. I think Patty Mac and Rainer were posting.
Xi'an? How do you feel about it? It's my first time and I like it so much. 是的，这是我第一次来西安，也是我第一次来中国，我非常喜
He
欢
likes
中国。
我听说你在线上赛刚打完，确定能够晋级到我们线下的时候，就和我们工作人员说，非常想要去西安看兵马俑。
Questions are solid, they're
现在能不能
solid.
告诉我有没有计划后面哪一天去西安，来到西安看兵马俑？
After you qualified, you said you wanted to see the Terracotta Warriors. When do you plan to go? I will go on Monday, and I really want to see it so much as well. 我们比赛结束之后会在周一、周二去游玩，包括兵马俑的一些西安的古迹名胜。
哇，我们现场如果有粉
Again,
丝有
Spirit,
机
he
会
isn't
的
really
话，
known
可以
for
带
having
领我们的
the
选手一起去参观一下我们西安非常著名的景点兵
most
马俑。
amazing
那其实我也
interviews, but I
听这
appreciate
个
he's
我们的
trying.
奥利维
He's
说
trying.
你来
I appreciate
这
it.
边吃了第一顿海底捞之后，就说接下来每一天都要吃海底捞，一直吃到你离开中国，是真的吗？
You said you could eat hot pot every day after you try it. What makes it special to you? It's very spicy and it is first time I try it, so I'm very impressed so far.
Catching up. Why did he sound like he had his family held hostage when he said that? He always sounds like that. It's fine. It's
希望我们中国的美食可以给你留下一个
It's
非
fine,
常好
but
的
it's
印象，也希望有机会多多来中国品尝我们的中国美食。好的，来我们采访一下我们的下一位选手。
But yeah, they showed photos of Showtime,
住
Skills,
在
and
一起的。
Spirit, and they were all eating
那
together.
你当时
They were eating hot pot
打入了
together.
败者组之后，你
I
们
think it was
有
like
什么
yesterday or
互
the day
动吗
before.
You were living with Reno when you defeated him in the qualifier. Was there any interaction after the match?
Oh.
Yes, I mean we had a little chat, but the next evening I had to sleep in the balcony.
所以在他击败雷诺之后，第二天他得在阳台上面睡觉。
这么可怜吗？那现在雷诺就在我们的解说
For those
席
wondering,
上面，你有
Skills
什么
knocked
话想
Rainer
对
out of
现
the
在在解
qualifier.
说席上的雷诺说的呢？
Now Reno is discussing here while you are playing on the stage. Do you have anything to say to him?
Good luck, have fun.
他说雷诺祝你好运，玩得开心。
好的，我们的雷诺在这个解说席上面，
But yeah, skillless is one of the reasons why Rainer is not in the event, as Rainer was knocked out.
Xi'an， 其实我们之前看过很多你的比赛，
Apparently
我
had
觉
to
得你
sleep
的
on the
比赛的
balcony.
打法是非常极端的一个防守型打法。你是喜欢这种慢慢去摧毁对手的感觉呢，还是你觉得星际争霸这个游戏就该这么玩
？Showtime, a lot of people think that you have a very defensive play style. Do you enjoy the process of destroying your opponent slowly, or you simply think this is the way to win?
I do enjoy the process of killing them slowly,
Ah,
but
he's an
I also
animal.
think it's the best way of playing, and it's the one I enjoy the most.
He likes it, pup. He likes
当
it.
然，我非常喜欢慢慢的折磨对手。
Do you play it just so you can like excruciatingly, like meticulously over time kill your opponent over an hour? He's like, yes. I want them to suffer, pup. I want them to suffer. Ah.
星际争霸的中国粉丝
Don't
们
you
有没有
don't
感
you
受到我
suffer
们现场
too?
粉丝们的
Yes,
热情？
I
感觉
like
线
it.
下赛粉丝们给你的感觉和你之前打线上赛有什么不同吗？
This time we're having an offline event in China. Now you're standing on the stage. We have all these King fans. How do you feel? Are you excited?
I'm very excited. It's always a good time in China. All the events I've been to have been really fun. The people are nice. I love the food. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
我现在非常的开心。
We love the
来
food,
过中国
Bobby.
好
We
几
love
次，
the
每次
food.
的印象都很好。中国
Would you describe your playstyle as toxic? You're like, no, I am
中国的美
toxic.
食也很棒，所以我每次来都
What a
非
chat.
常的满意。
Embrace
我们
it.
中国的观众再让他感
It's
受一
not
下
the
我们的
playstyle,
热
it's
情，好不
me.
好？来，我们下一位是我们的中国小将叶蝶。那其实，在之前线上赛的时候，你打得非常艰难，最后是在
Oh,
2-3
Firefly
的情况下连下2城，然后是赢了碳基选手晋级的。能跟我们分享一下当时那场比赛，包括打赢之后的一个感受吗？
当时，我对这次
Oh
预
no.
选赛非常的
Are we
看
not
重
gonna
嘛，
get
也准备了
translations?
很多，所以说，到最后非常紧张，也是各种犯了失误。然后在赢下他之后呢，我就下定决心要好好练习，一直在准备这次的线下赛。我希望自己在这次比赛能发挥的出色吧。
哦，那线下我们有很多粉丝都
Do we
是
have any
也是为了
translators in the
看你而
chat?
来的，有什么话想对我们那么多的线下粉丝说的吗？
希望大家看得尽兴，然后在西安玩得开心。
哇，祝大家在西安玩得开心哦！
Oh, he practiced extra hours. He's nervous. I
来
don't.
牛牛哥哥，事隔
I
多
don't
年
think,
又一次来到了我们的中
I
国
don't think
主场
Firefly
线下
has
作战，
been on a
现在
stage like
心情
this
怎么样？
before, like to compete.
挺开心的吧，因为疫情当时很久没有去打线下赛了，然后之前一直线下赛也在欧美夺冠那次也在波兰，所以这是在中国，只能跟观众说一句话：全场欢呼！
欢呼声！好的，那么我们上一次其实牛牛哥哥夺冠的时候，有很多人因为没有在现场，没有能够见证。这一次，希望大家都能在现场见证牛牛哥哥的出色表现。那其实，在这一次，你是作为直邀选手来到我们的比赛，你在看你的对手们打线上赛的时候，你有想过当时 SCBoy 能够连续击败雷诺，包括击败了 Showtime 来到我们线下晋级吗？
说实话，其实是没想到的，但是我觉得他这次能以欧洲区第1的身份晋级，肯定还是有实力的。所以最近和鸡哥还有解释，我们练了很多，然后也看了很多细节，希望一会儿最后一场比赛打的时候能发挥得出来吧。
好的，那最后一个问题，李培
Yo,
南，
big shout
准
to
备好
Baby
了
Links in
吗
the chat, by the way. Thank you for the translation.
再来一遍，全场欢呼！
Let's go. What's he saying? What's the chant?
好的，接下来来采访一下我们的郭
What's
一红
being
选手。
said?
其实你在我们中国粉丝心中也是非常的有分量的。之前有一场比赛，你在对阵 Zest 的比赛里面被显示器砸到，最后还是赢了比赛，这件事情非常有名。然后我们中国的观众给你取了一个特别可爱的外号叫“砸粉”，你对那个比赛还有印象吗？
기억나죠? 기억납니다. 재밌는 영상이기도 하고 이긴 기억이라서 되게 좋은 기억입니다.
他是记得那场比赛是非常有意思。
Why are they asking him that?
然后那场比赛他也赢了，他就反正留下了一个很好的回忆。
是的，给我们中国观众也留下了一个很
She
深
remember
刻的
getting knocked
印象。
the
那
hell
你
out.
对于这一次来到中国西安参加比赛，对自己的预期是什么？
우승입니다.
他说就是要夺冠嘛。
哇，非常的有信心啊！加油，希望你在比赛能够赛出好
We're
成
happy.
绩。
Let's go.
好，接下来采访一下我们的小 Hero。其实很多的我们的一些中国观众对于你和 Max 谁是试一 P 有很大的一个讨论。你自己心里觉得谁是试一 P 呢？
온라인 맥스팩스, 오프라인 히어로.
哇，那其实这一次来到线下，我们也看到很多的这个粉丝也是非常支持你，你也是很多中国粉丝们这个追捧的一个星际职业选手。有什么话想对我们中国的粉丝们说吗？
네, 사랑해 주셔서 감사합니다.
谢谢大家喜欢我。
哇，谢谢你们对于小 Hero 的支持，谢谢大家。好，我们最后要采访一下我们的马入选手。那你是作为唯一一个拿到过8次 GSL 的一个冠军选手，你觉得能拿到这个成就最重要的是什么？
일단 운이 좋았던 것 같고 연습 상대들이 잘 도와줘가지고 할 수 있었던 것 같습니다.
他觉得主要是他运气好，然后他的那个练习的对象帮了他很多。
哦，果然这个谦虚真的是强者的一个经常出现的品格。那在这里的话，赛前我在来西安之前，我有问了一个我们中国知名的解说小色，我问他这一次比赛最看好谁可以夺冠，他跟我说他非常非常看好你可以夺冠，他觉得你是夺冠的大热门。你觉得这一次比赛你的目标是冠军吗？
목표는 우승이긴 한데 일단 첫 상대를 이기면은 가능할 것 같아요.
他觉得那个夺冠是他的目标，但是要看他能不能战胜第一个对手。
哇，那我们今天的待会儿第一场比赛，我们就要让马如选手来给我们展现一下他的实力了。好的，那我们所有选手的一个采访也是暂时完毕了。 凭热爱共传奇，这是一场我们星际争霸的粉丝等待了5年的线下赛，也是我们星际争霸2回归的凯旋曲。5年期待，今朝圆满。StarsWar 在这里会向大家呈现一场视觉盛宴。我们的8位选手已经摩拳擦掌，向着冠军的宝座发起冲击了。你们准备好了吗？让我们一起来揭晓悬念吧！
Okay, we are back. A massive shout out to Baby Links in the chat, by the way, for the live translations. I know it isn't easy. I was purposely not talking. I was trying to make sure I didn't talk over them so you could hear what they were saying and all that. So thank you so much for the live translations. Again, check out the Twitch chat if you are interested in that. And it was a lot of fun. Some wild questions were asked. I really liked the question to Skillus, where it's like, yo, how did it feel? And what was it like after beating Raider in the qualifiers? And he's like, oh, I slept outside. I stepped on the balcony, Papi. Oh, smooch. It was a lot of fun. The Showtime question was a lot of fun. You know, he's like, oh, I like inflicting pain on others in long games. Smooch. But yeah, it was really cool. We had some like standard questions and standard answers. Like Maru's wasn't too, interesting. He's like, oh, I'm lucky. Just good practice partners. He's very modest. Maru, he's a very modest player. Very humble in that way, but we all know how good he is. It was really cool to see Firefly. If you're curious about the casters, I believe this is XY and Maxed. XY closest to me, Maxed a little bit further away. And they're going to be casting over in Chinese or over in Mandarin. But the Firefly one was really cool just because we know that Firefly is, he's not really too experienced in this scenario, right? It's a big offline event with a massive home crowd as well. If I'm not mistaken, this might be the first time that Firefly plays in this kind of setting. So on the one hand, I'm excited to see more Firefly. On the other hand, I'm sure nerves are going to be a big factor here. But like, it's one of those things where you need to get experience in this kind of setting to get more comfortable in it. So it's going to be a big, important moment here for Firefly competing in an event like StarsWar 11. And of course, it's going to be a stepping stone moving on to more events later on down the line as well. So exciting things for Firefly. Likewise, Oliveira has the home crowd support as well. Oliveira is going to be playing at the end of the night. You just saw the matchups. We're going to be casting Maru versus Spirit first. First Maru versus Spirit. followed by Showtime versus Gumiho, Firefly versus Hero, and Oliveira versus Skillus. So we got a good amount of TVPs, TvT, and PvP as well. These are all best of fives. Best of fives, and we'll get into the best of sevens in day 2. Day number 2. Again, this is, of course, the round of 8, the quarterfinals of the playoffs of StarsWar 11, and it's really cool that we've been able to make this an offline event as well. Fun fact, it isn't just this event that's offline. I believe SCBoy have plans to make the WTL playoffs offline as well. They have plans to make the playoffs or maybe the finals offline to fly in all the players and all the teams and get things going and make use of this stage once again. So really cool to see that SCBoy are leveling up. They've got a lot of sponsors for this event. They've got, you know, that extra funding going on, and because of that, they're going to be able to make use of that and, you know, fly players over and make the finals that much more exciting as well. So really cool stuff. Big shout out to SCBoy and all their sponsors and everything that they do for StarCraft as well. SCBoy, they're behind StarsWar 11, World Team League, Masters Coliseum, Kung Fu Cup. They do a lot for StarCraft. Much love, much love. And shout out to all the people in the crowd as well. We get the crowd shots, Papi, the crowd shots. And as we're getting into this, as we're settling into our first would-be series, a big shout out to Manekino in the chat. Oh my god. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Thank you so much for resubscribing for 4 months with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the cast. We have yet to really dive and delve too much into the cast yet, but we're getting there. We are getting there. I'm sure we're going to be seeing... Oh, there's Nova! Oh my god. There's someone cosplaying Nova. Ah. Oh, someone took the Kaizi Gaming shirt. Interesting. There's actually a lot of Kaizi Gaming in the chat. That's interesting because Kaizi Gaming isn't a team anymore. Wait, what? There's a lot of KZG. I wonder what the story is behind that. Are they giving out like free KZG shirts? Like that, there was a lot of people in the crowd with KZG shirts. I mean, even if they were giving them out, I don't think people would like put them on then and there, right? So, yeah, interesting. Heard that Chinese S2 server is back now, right? It isn't back yet, but it should be coming back soon. I believe the Blizzard has been able to once again kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Negotiate, that's it. They were able to negotiate agreements and create a contract once again with NetEase, and they're going to be able to bring back the Chinese servers after quite a bit of a hiatus. So we expect them to come back. We assume it's going to be coming back for StarCraft. We don't know. You know, is it going to be for all their games or only for specific titles? Yet to be determined. But it's coming soon, TM. Soon, TM. Meanwhile, here we go. We're going to be introducing the players.
StarsWar 11星际争霸2线下赛第1场比赛，有请双方选手登场。有请 Spirit、Maru。
Let's go. We have Spirit. We have Maru. No player booths. Interesting setup that they have. It looks like a team, like a team game setup. Maybe we're gonna have some show matches later on with like team versus team or something like that, or maybe that's just the setup that they have. Regardless, Maru and Spirit are setting up. It's gonna be a TvT to kick things off. You can see it in the chat. And you know what?
StarsWar 11星际争霸2线下赛8进4，凭热爱共传奇。
One moment. The predictions are soon to be open in the chat, so you can place your bets on who you think is going to come out on top in this TvT. Bearing in mind that Spirit has some of the best TvT in all of Europe. Spirit, of course, recently beating Gabe, Hero Marine, over in the regionals for EU. Likewise, taking it to Clem as well. I think there is an argument to be made that Spirit has the best TvT in Europe. And now, though, we're settling on in. Oh, we're getting the player shots, Papi. The player shots. One moment. I'm setting up the predictions. One moment. Okay, beautiful. All right. As soon as we dive in, predictions will be open in the chat. Yo, are they asking for signatures? Let's go. Sign, Papi. Big fan. We're getting ready for that first TvT matchup here again. This is the top 8. It's going to be a 2-day event. Today we're going to be covering all of the quarterfinals. Tomorrow is going to be the semifinals and the grand finals thereafter. If you're curious, that's why this week there is no WTL, there's no World Team League. It's coming back next week, just making room for StarsWar 11. Not to be confused with Star Wars, by the way. I'm not your father. There is no high ground here. It's StarsWar. Totally not confusing. Let's go. Let us go. So we just gotta get that shot. Maru sculling down that water. Oh, drink up, Bappy. Drink up. Don't forget to hydrate yourselves, everyone. Of course, Maru representing his new team, Team Vitality. Rocking that new jersey. Love to see it. Meanwhile, unless it was on screen earlier, I believe we are not privy to the vetoes. I don't think we've quite seen the veto process yet. Oh, we have content.
바이탈리티 테란 조성주입니다. 이번 ESL 유럽에서도 잘하기도 했고 태태전은 반반이라고 생각하기 때문에 좀 무서운 것 같습니다.
Oh, he's talking about the TvT?
최근 대회 우승하기도 했고 요즘 그래도 괜찮은 것 같은데 어깨가 조금 아파가지고 그게 좀 걱정인 것 같습니다. 성적 목표요? 네. 성적 목표는 솔직히 우승까지는 안 바라고 첫 상대 이기는 게 목표입니다. 연습은 거의 레더로만 해가지고 자주 연습하는 상대는 딱히 없는 것 같아요. 그냥 얘기를 좀 많이 하고 테란 선수들이랑 딱히 레더 위주로 해가지고 연습하는 사람이 딱 없는 것 같습니다. 일단 테란이 너프를 많이 먹기도 했고 토스가 좋아지기도 했어가지고 토스전이 살짝 어려운 것 같습니다. 저그전은 아직 더 해봐야 될 것 같고 지금 저그가 나쁘다고 생각하진 않고 이제 밸런스 패치가 한 지 얼마 안 돼가지고 적응 단계라고 생각하기 때문에 이제 e스포츠 월드컵 다가오면은 다들 적응해가지고 더 잘할 것 같아서 지금 딱히 괜찮은 것 같습니다. 일단 제가 못할 때는 안 보기 때문에 상처받을 일은 딱히 없는 것 같고 그냥 제가 잘했을 때 가끔 보는 것 같습니다.
You love to see it, love to see it. Oh my god. Yeah, interesting comments there from Maru, letting us know that, you know, nowadays maybe a little bit less, you know, custom games with players like Xi'an and players like Xi'an, you know, more discussions with them, which is interesting to hear. Likewise, he was also commenting on Spirit's TvT in EBT Europe, which is what we were talking about earlier, about how he's been looking quite strong in that respect. So Maru is aware of that, and we'll see how that affects him coming into this series as well. So yeah, really interesting stuff. When it comes to certain thoughts on the matchups as well, it was interesting. I mean, sure, like TvP has been adjusted. Oh,
I play Terran, and I hope I will do well in this tournament. So Maru seems to be a very tough opponent, but I know how he plays because I was watching a lot of his games. So I think I have a pretty decent plan against him. So I am confident. So recently I think I feel pretty decent. I got way better and I show it in the EU regionals. Pretty much I don't feel that I don't think that I am afraid of anyone.
He has no fear.
Maybe Cyril. Against him is always just too hard. So in this event I would like to get at least to the finals. Even though my first opponent is probably the person that's gonna win it if I don't defeat him. So, but if I do, then I'm actually confident that I can take the whole thing. I usually play a lot of ladder and custom games. It depends who you can get to play with at a certain time. Because sometimes there's a lot of good Protoss players on ladder, so I play ladder. If I ask, I don't know, for customs, like players like, I don't know, Xi'an, Cyril, or Cure, and I will play with them as much as I can. So it really depends. But I usually just prefer to play custom games. I think the balance is mostly fine. I struggle a lot against Protoss early on, and against Zerg I think it's 50-50 for both races. Well, I don't read this, but I don't think anyone hates on me. Maybe I'm too small yet. Maybe if I get way better and if I lose, then I'm gonna get flamed. But I didn't really read anything negative. Well, China fans seems to be kind of the best, and they also ask smart questions when it comes to me. Like they ask about the details in the game as well.
Did they just cut him off? Wait. Let him speak, Papi. Let him speak. Oh my god. Calm down. We can't let him talk nicely about the Chinese fans. We have to cut him off. Ah, okay. But I think something important to bear in mind, something that Maru brought up, and that is, I think, a little bit showing when it comes to this event, is that the qualifiers of StarsWar 11 were like a month or two ago. It was closer to the beginning of the patch and the new map pool as well. And that's probably one of the big factors as to why Zerg did struggle so much in those qualifiers. Another big one is that, of course, Serral and Dark did not participate in those qualifiers. Again, Serral can't travel because of military service. Dark, I'm not too certain as to why, but it could also be related to his military service as well. So they weren't a part of that. But some of the other bigger names like DRG, Xi'an, Solar, Raynor, they weren't able to quite make it through either. Nowadays, now that the meta's settled a little bit more, now that we're a couple of months further into the patch and further into the map pool, I would say that, you know, it's a little bit more even there, or they have all since improved and adapted to it as well. It's been really cool to see everyone kind of settle in, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to DreamHack Dallas as a result when it comes to more Zerg representation. For now, we're focusing on the Terran and the Protoss, and here we go. We have our vetoes and we have our map order. We have Oceanborn followed by Side Delta and a bunch of other maps. As we're diving into game number 1. Yo, we have like a VIP area. Do you see that? Look closer to the bottom of the screen. There's like couches down there. Let's go. You got like the regular seating, then you got like these suave couches closer to the stage. Till then though, we are getting ready. I was also really interesting to hear and confirm as well that Kira and Bjorn are very much so willing to do customs. That is known as well, that both Bjorn and Kira are very active when it comes to engaging with some of the foreigners out there to do customs outside of just regular ladder practice. Really cool to hear that once again. It looks like we're getting ready here for our first match. And the TvTs are coming. I just realized like how similar like the Na'Vi and Team Vitality color scheme is. So here we go, we're going in! And then at the top left hand corner we have Maru for Team Vitality. And in the bottom right, we have as opponent, we have a Spirit for Na'Vi. Here we go. Whew, our TvT is upon us. Again, it's going to be a long broadcast. We have 4 best of 5s, and best of 5s, they can take quite some time. Also, before I forget, of course, predictions in the chat. For the next 2 minutes, you can place your bets on who you believe will advance on to the semifinals. Will it be Maru or Spirit? Up to you to decide. As a reminder, this prediction is for the entire series, not just for the game. Predictions open. Best of luck. Get your gamba going, Papi. Get your gamba going. Until then, we're settling in. It's going to be an interesting opener here from our players. We have double gas from Spirit. Likewise, we have double gas from Maru. So double gas openers is going to be leading into a faster factory. We're going for delayed CCs from both Maru and Spirit. So a bit of a more safer and aggressive build here to kick things off. No one is cutting any corners yet. Depending on the map order and some of these other larger maps in the map pool, then we can be a little bit greedier. For now, though, we're playing it safe. SCB Scout's going to be coming in. Just confirming the openers, confirming the timing of the factories as well. So Spirit is playing safe. Meanwhile, Maru, I believe, has yet to go for his own worker scout. So Maru is playing in the dark. So technically in this opener, Spirit has more information, but Maru has a slightly better economy. The reason for this is because Maru did not go for an SCV scout, Spirit did. That's one worker that is mining for Maru, it isn't for Spirit. So there's a bit of a give and take going on here. Maru just being slightly more efficient. First Reapers have arrived, just going to be scouting close by, making sure there's no proxy. We have the CC on location for both players as well. We're easing in towards that mid game, and we'll see what we do make use, or how we make use of this earlier gases. Do we go for a reactored Reaper Hellion? Do we go for an earlier Cyclone in TvT, which can still pose a threat and can still, you know, make some moves happen? Or do we go for a bit of a different build? For now, here we go. We have reactored Reapers. So we're going to be committing here to Reaper Hellion. Do we commit into 3, even into 5 Reapers? Or do we stop at 3 and transition from there? We'll see who's going to commit a little bit harder and how aggressive either Maru or Spirit are going to be. But now the Reapers are about to finish. Hellions as well behind this, getting to our StarCraft production. We're not going into any kind of crazy 2-1-1 setup. And we have confirmation. Okay, so it's going to be triple Reaper, double Hellion from Maru, and it's going to be the same from Spirit. We have mirrored builds. Only slight deviations, again, with Maru having a bit of extra resources. We do see Cyclones now on the way for Spirit, though. Okay, reactored Cyclone from our red Terran. We have tanks from our blue Terran. And the armies, they miss each other. We do pass by each other, and Maru, he's going to hit first. He's going for the middle line. He's going for the SCVs. Yeah, SCVs are going to be going down, and Spirit, he has to commit. There's no turning back. Does wall off just in time. But that depot, it's going to be knocked down. It can be knocked down. Meanwhile, across the map, Maru going to try and hold on. He does have Marines. Meanwhile, Maru, he busts into the main base. Workers are going down. Voids are being pulled. Workers going to be going down for both players. But who's going to come out on top? Cyclones, they do arrive. They're going to be able to clean this up. At the same time, Spirit busts into that mineral line. Once again, the workers are lighting up. And Maru is taking a lot of damage. He's taking a lot of hits here. 10 SCVs go down. 11 SCVs. Can we get 12? Up. It's going to be close. We can. 12 SCVs falling. Spirit, meanwhile, losing half of that. And Spirit takes a massive economic lead. His Reaper is going to be shut down, but the pressure is now on Maru. Now, the plus side for Maru is his early tank production. So in a head-to-head fight, I want to give the edge to Maru. You know, he's going to have the bio tank set up so very quickly. Meanwhile, Spirit, his aggression is not stopping. He's going for Cyclones. He's going for Cyclones, and he's not stopping with Cyclone production. We have a medevac on the way. That means Spirit wants to go for a Cyclone drop to get even more economic damage done. We'll see if he can. Meanwhile, Maru, the pressure is on him to do some counter damage. He's moving out. There are Cyclones in position outside of the natural, but we are going straight for the main base. The Cyclones, they know where they need to be. Yeah, the Cyclones, they're caught out. And we're going for that mineral line. Again, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of onus here on Maru to get some damage done. Here he does drop in. Quick reaction out of Spirit. He's going to lose 1 SCV. Only 1 worker. Good defense so far. Good reaction out of Spirit, as he was able to pick up and actually drop into his own main base with those Cyclones. Does minimize his losses, and he wants to hunt down that medevac, by the way. You can see on the minimap, there he is. He's looking for the medevac. He's looking for it, but he will not find it. Spirit now getting into his own tank production. We do see Maru going into Vikings first, before Ravens. Interesting. So Spirit's going tank Raven, meanwhile Maru's going tank Viking. There's a bit of a give and take there. The Vikings, their purpose is to zone away those Ravens to shut them down before they can really impact a fight. Sure, Ravens, they can disable tanks, but if they can't get close, then they can do nothing. Drop into the main. We catch a Viking. Viking goes down. And the drop does get away. Good pick off here by Spirit. Meanwhile, Maru trying to hunt down that drop. Remember, he doesn't have stim. Oh, but we do catch one of the Cyclones. One Cyclone does go down. Spirit trying to race back home. Scan reveals the production, reveals the 3rd CC. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Maru's going, or he's playing committed. Like, he's not going for a 3rd base. After all his losses, Maru, he's pushing out with everything that he has. And he's looking pretty all in. He's looking pretty all in with this. Tanks have arrived. Did we pull the boys? We did! The boys have been pulled! Ooh, good position here by Spirit. He gets a couple of volleys off for free. The boys are here. We're up to 4 tanks. That's a massive tank count. But what about those Ravens? Remember, disable is now done. We're going for them. We get 1. Managed to get 1 tank, but the others do siege. Yeah, Maru, he does maintain this position. Spirit late to reposition as well. And Spirit's in trouble. Spirit's in trouble. Maru, he's gaining ground, pushing towards that natural base. And Spirit, he's still just caught out. He's caught out with half of his army. These two tanks not able to accomplish too much. We do catch a reinforcing tank. Good pickup. But the natural base is under fire. And Spirit, he just can't break out. Can't break out, not like this. Oh, the tank within range of the lift. The tank goes down. And more Liberators have arrived. It looks like this 2-base all in from Maru. It's breaking the natural. It's breaking into the main base. Spirit, he cannot hold on. Yeah, freedom is here. We liberate the main of Spirit. 22 SCVs go down. And despite how good the opener was, Spirit, he just cannot hold on against this. GG gets called, and Maru takes game number 1. Whew. GG. The audio is a little bit it's a little bit messy, but it's fine. GG, well played. Whew. Maru does take game number 1, but props to Spirit because Maru was forced into an all-in. Like Maru, he just took too much damage. He took not game-ending damage, but he took critical damage there from Spirit. So there was only a couple of ways to bounce back. Either just harass your opponent so much that you get some damage done and you can expand and take a third, be hyper greedy, cut corners, and try to rush into a third, maybe even a 4th base as well, or go for the all-in. Go for the all-in and just go for one big push. That's why he had made so many Vikings and so many Liberators as a follow-up. And Maru does break Spirit. GG. Good decision making out of Maru, good execution. Meanwhile, Spirit had a really rough defense. If you remember, Spirit, he tried to engage outside of his natural. He was able to disable, yes, but he wasn't able to dive on the army. He just didn't have enough there. I feel like for Spirit in that moment, he most likely had to either bide his time, pull back, and wait for reinforcements, or pull the boys. Pull his own workers to collapse on all those tanks and to try to shut them down then and there. Like, we needed something drastic from the side of Spirit, and it wasn't enough. Was not enough in the end. With that, Maru takes the lead, but as a reminder, it's a best of 5. Best of 5, plenty of games ahead of us, plenty more to come here. Between these two players, it looks like they might have asked for a small break, which again, you know, maybe especially after that first game, we need to shake off some of those nerves, maybe get some water, maybe some tech issues. Regardless, we're more than willing to wait a little bit here before we dive into our next game. Here we go. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. You're an animal, Jadolf. You're an animal. You're aye, aye, aye. Oh, a Hummel is on Maru's t-shirt. That is a Danish company. Oh, nice. Let's go. Didn't know that. Are they sponsoring Team Vitality? Is Team Vitality Danish? Team Vitality Esports. It is a European team. Oh, it's a French team. Oh, okay. But yeah, really interesting that that they have a Danish sponsor. It's really cool. It is really cool. Oh, as it looks like we're going over. Oh, we're going over a highlight as well. Let's go. I mean, it's fitting, right? This was the moment. Or actually, this is the drop afterwards. Actually, I feel like they should be highlighting. Oh, there we go. There's the big fight. This is the moment that I spoke about where it would have been really cool to have seen the boys being pulled. Clearly, this was a very committed engagement by Spirit, and he needed to take this well. And we saw that once that fight went the way of Maru, that was game. Like, that was game then there. That was Spirit being broken. Or his spirit was broken. It would have been cool to have seen the chaotic moment with the Reaper Hellion. But regardless, shout out to the production team. Big shout outs. Yo, I love that Maru. He's got a little fan. I think that's a USB fan where you like plug it into the PC and you can fan yourself. Ah, beautiful. We are getting ready. Ooh. And especially from the side of Spirit, I hope he doesn't feel too disheartened. I think I agree with his statement. If you remember, in the lead up to the game, in the interviews, they asked Spirit who he's afraid of. He said that if he can beat Maru, he can probably win the entire event. And I mean, I don't dislike his chances against Maru. Like he did not look outclassed at all in that game. He had his own strong moments, and even Maru was kind of praising or giving credit and respect to Spirit with how he was performing in the European regionals. So I would love to see a back and forth between these two. Would love to see a back and forth. There we go. How to get sponsors for esports in France because it's sitting against gaming? Oh, smooch. And regardless, I mean, they're a big team. I imagine Team Vitality are pretty successful. Imagine they are successful in what they do. But yeah, it looks like there might be some issues going on here, delaying the game. Let's have a look here. Do we have any updates? Okay, here we go. We're diving into it. Looks like the lobby is being set up. We can see our series here. Game 1 was on Oceanborn. Game 2 is going to be on Side Delta, followed by Alcyone, Crimson Court, and Post Youth. Okay, I mean, some of the more unorthodox maps were vetoed. We can see that Spirit got rid of Golden Aura and Ghost River. Those are two of the smaller maps in the map pool, so it looks like he wanted to avoid more of the aggressive style and nature of Maru, so those vetoes make plenty of sense as they kind of correlate with that mindset. Meanwhile, we did have Amphion instead vetoed by Maru and Dynasty, some of the more unorthodox maps in the map pool. Some of those quirky features. But here we go. We're getting ready for game 2 on Site Delta. Apologize for the break that we had earlier, but hopefully the downtime is going to be minimal as we get into this. That's one of the other big things about an offline event is that players do need time to kind of get their setups going, you know, get their hotkeys right, their PC settings, all that good stuff. That is another big factor when it comes to playing at a venue or on the stage. And sometimes there can be hiccups. But for the most part, I'm sure they're looking to resolve them. That's another big advantage of all the PCs they have set up. I would not be surprised if they're all correlated with the player. But here we go. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have Spirit. Sorry, we have Maru for Team Vitality. And top left, we have Spirit for Na'Vi. But yeah, they have 4 PCs set up on either side. So it's possible that all the players have already set up their settings and their accounts on each of those PCs. And each one is assigned to a player. I mean, that'd be a way to do it. Just to minimize that downtime. For now, though, we're getting into our openers. As a reminder, last game, we saw mirrored builds. We had double gas openers into 111s, or double gas opener into Rax Factory Expand, into Reactored Reaper Hellion, and Spirit did come out on top in that initial trade. Once again, double gas openers here in Game 2 for both Maru and Spirit. We saw last game that Maru did not SCV scout. That is why Maru had a slight economic lead early on, just because he didn't waste any resources by sending a worker out on the map. It looks like it's going to be the same thing here. Looks like it's going to be the same as Spirit is moving out with his SCV scout, and Maru doesn't care about scouting his opponent. Now, this is something you can abuse, to be honest. This is something that you can abuse and try to take advantage of from Maru. You can try to cheese him out, go for some kind of all-in because of how lax he is when it comes to early game scouting. As the SV does arrive, confirms the opener, confirms the build. Reapers are on the way. And Spirit is going to pull back. And again, at least Spirit, he knows he's safe and sound. Maru gambling a little bit, but he's clearly confident in his play. As Reaper moves out, he's looking for a proxy Rax location, making sure that he's not going to be caught off guard. And the CC is on the way on the low ground. Should be the case for both players. There they are. Basically mirrored build so far. Just slight differences here and there. Just very, very slight differences. We're settling into our game. Now, this could just be a repeat of the last game where we go into Reactor Reaper Hellion again. It's very possible. I mean, it is quite a common opener in the TvT matchup. Oh, but no Spirit. He's going for a Cyclone. Likewise, Maru going for a Widowmine drop. Oh, sorry, for a Widowmine first. Okay. So both players are going to deviate. We have Widowmines from Maru. We have the Cyclone from Spirit. Now, from the side of Spirit, this can turn into a Cyclone drop. Cyclones are quite powerful early on defensively. They shoot up and they shoot down, and they have a lot of kiting potential as well. So they can work wonders. Meanwhile, the Widowmine is set up here on top of the ramp to punish any kind of dive. So Spirit, he has to be careful, has to be wary. Maru's defensive setup is pretty terrifying, as he's going for his own Cyclone and drop play. Now, do we pass by each other and do we just go for each other's economies again, or is there more of a back and forth clash between Spirit and Maru? Here comes the drop. There we go. Widowmine, Hellion, Reaper, Marine. It looks like the Hellion... Oh, did we just barely spot it? Maru did spot the Hellion at least. Oh, that's a lot of sponsors. But here we go. Maru going for his drop. At the same time, here comes a bit of a run by. Cyclones are in position, Marines are in position, and Maru does defend. He deflects the initial army, the initial aggression. Spirit moving out with the Cyclones. That means he has nothing at home to defend. Or at least not those two Cyclones. Yeah, not at home. The drop comes in. And SCVs are going to be going down. Okay, we do have Marines in position, thankfully. Mine shot up. Ooh, does go off. Takes down a Marine, but it looks like we should have enough to defend. A good KDA charge does split up the army. Cyclones, they race back home. We go for the lock-on on that medevac, but the medevac will escape. That's 4 SCV kills for a Widowmine and a handful of Marines. It's a good trade here for Maru. Spirit going to try and chase that medevac down, but Maru, he will boost away. He will get back home. And behind this, Tank Raven for both players. You know, this time Maru didn't take critical damage. This time Maru doesn't need to go for an all-in. So we're just settling into tank production, into Ravens. Ooh, that is interesting though. Do you see what I see? I see a second starport. This looks like another different kind of 2-base all-in from Maru. Now, when you go for we'll get into it after this aggression. Cyclone drop comes in, is going to be deflected. Now, when it comes to Maru's build, this is a build that Juanito is very, very fond of. When you go for double starport like this, we're going to be rushing to Mass Viking, and then we're going to be reinforcing with Liberators with our 2-base all-in. The goal here is with your Mass Viking, you gain map control, you gain air control, you force back any kind of Vikings or Ravens of your opponent, and you bully back the army with the Liberators. It's quite a brute force way to play TvT, and if it goes unscouted, Spirit can be shut down. Like, if it goes unscouted, it can snowball out of control. So as you can see here, we're making 3 Vikings at a time. Once we amass a large enough Viking count, then we start Liberator production. And because there are so many Vikings, the Libs, they can just force the unsiege of the tanks and just force back the army further and further back. And here we go. We are pushing. The army is spotted. Ooh, good position here by Spirit. Does siege up on the high ground and takes down the Reaper. He slows down the push. You can see the production tab. Liberators are on the way. And here comes the all-in from Maru. Trying to chase down those tanks. We can see Spirit is going. He's working on his orbital. He's building up a tank count. Hasn't lost anything yet. Yeah, big disables. The first tank goes down. We have the counter disable. But Maru, he's going to be able to break through. He lands the Vikings. He's getting on top of the tanks, and they're falling one after the other. Big catch here from Maru, catching 3 tanks. Even before the Liberators rock up. And Maru, he has too much. He has control of the low ground. Spirit, he's in a lot of trouble. He has to pull the boys. He can afford to lose some of these workers, but the tanks, they're sieged up behind this. And massive volleys goes off. Every single SCV going to be going down. And as Spirit tries to hold on, here comes the Lib. We spoke about it. There's no answer to the Liberation Zone. The freedom is here. Be free. The tanks are going down. And Spirit is on his last legs. Again, he was unable to confirm this. He was unable to scout this. Had no idea what was going on. And he was caught out on the map. And once again, the Lib just going ham, bullying back those tanks. GG gets called, and Maru will take a 2-0 lead. GG. GG, well played. This is going to be a fast one. I mean, this can happen sometimes with TvTs. It can be a very chaotic matchup. Sometimes we can have a slow, methodical back and forth, or sometimes we can just ape it up and just go for these all-ins. And so far, Maru has gone for a 2-base all-in 2 games in a row. And he has caught Spirit with his pants down time and time again. Oh boy. Do we go for another 2-base all-in in game 3? I mean, it's been working so far. By this point, I imagine Spirit is going to be playing safer and is going to be a little bit more prevalent and a little bit more active when it comes to scouting, a little bit more intentional when it comes to scouting. We'll see, though. We shall see. This is a rough start so far for Spirit. I mean, again, we have seen Spirit in the mid to late game. We've seen him look dominant in that game state, but he has to get there. That's the problem here. I'm sure Spirit, he wants to get up to 3 bases, up to 4 bases. He wants to have an army. He wants to play some StarCraft, but Maru says no. Maru says no. Deal with my all-ins first, and then you get to play some StarCraft, okay? And so far, Spirit is up against the wall. Things are looking a little bit dire for him. He can bring it back. Of course he can, but will he? Will he be able to do it here? In game 3, on the day, on the stage. I wish him the best of luck. Like, again, personally, as a caster, I want more games. I want more matches. I want more games. I want us to go to the ace match if at all possible, but again, it's on Spirit right now. And this is a brutal format. It's single elimination. There is no lower bracket, for example. There's no safety nets. It's one and done here. It's one and done. As we check out some of those replays as well. Huh. Again, this was just the initial drop. It was a nice start here for Maru, just getting 4 SCVs. Nothing too amazing, but oh my god, we just skipped forward. Like, what are these highlights? We just skipped forward to the fight as well. We were able to disable 2 of the tanks, able to focus down the first tank as well. Basically, not a single tank volley went off in favor of Spirit. I mean, this fight was so decisive from Maru. But again, Spirit didn't know that there was an all-in coming, so he was caught on the map. Otherwise, he wouldn't have necessarily been there. Likewise, he wouldn't have made a 3rd TC. That's another big factor, is that Spirit, he was investing into kind of a longer, later game, and was caught out here. Again, things very quickly escalated out of control. And GG, well played. Again, we all know that Spirit has it in him to take it to the best of them. He's gonna do it here and now, Papi. Be out there. We need to bring it out, Papi. Give us a longer series. At least I hope so. But now, meanwhile, Maru, again, he's cool, calm, and collected. You know, he's just been executing his builds quite nicely. To be fair, game 1 was more chaotic, was more back and forth. Like, you know, even though it's a 2-0 lead so far, it's not like Maru has been dominating every single game. Game 1 was much closer, and the all-in was more force out of Maru, more than anything. But we'll see what the plan is on a larger map like Alcyone. This map screams Spirit. You know, I'm feeling Alcyone, and I'm feeling Post-Youth as well. You know, some of these big, larger maps with a lot of bases, with a lot of open spaces as well. Can we settle into a 3-base economy? Can we get a longer game? I hope so, but I feel like that's a question that Maru is going to be answering. Whether it's yes or no, I feel like it's going to be on Maru here. We'll see. We shall see. As we have our head-to-head. Lobby is set. We're loading into potentially the final game of our first series. One more win is all that Maru needs. Uno más, papi. Uno más. Is going to be all he needs. Catching up in the chat. Spirit, stop the greed. Oh, God. It's one of those things where, is Spirit going to be playing overly safe and overly secure, and then Maru can be greedy instead, right? Like, is this the game where Maru goes for, like, a fast 3rd TC? This could be it, as in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Maru for Team Vitality. And in the top right, we have his opponent, we have Spirit for Na'Vi. Here we go. Not gonna lie, I was half expecting Maru to just go for a proxy. I was like a proxy 2-axe or something. Proxy 2-axe Reaper. But no, the Rax is back at home. So far, we have mirrored openers. There is no SCV out on the map. There is no proxy shenanigans here from either player. Not yet. And once again, it's going to be a double gas opener. I'm a little bit surprised. If I would have guessed when we would see a Rax expand, I would have assumed Alcyone would have been one of those maps. But we can see both Maru and Spirit playing a lot safer. They're going to be playing much safer instead. Getting into that double gas, getting into a faster factory. Now, we did see our players mix it up. We did see them mix it up in the last game where we saw Spirit going to Cyclones and Maru going to Widow Mines. So we've already seen some deviations. And again, can we get up to 3 bases, Papi? Can we get even the mid game? Like, I know asking for a late game is too much for me, but you know, the mid game is all I want to see at least once. At least once. As our initial Reapers are on the way, we have the Reactor follow-up here from our players as well. Reactor's on the way for Maru. Spirit has yet to invest into his own add-on. Interesting. CC on the way from the side of both players. We have our command centers on location. But yes, Spirit not going for an add-on whatsoever here, just going for a or just straight up Reaper Hellion. Meanwhile, the Reactor is done, and Maru is going for Reactored Reapers instead. He is massing up his army. Spirit instead is going to be spending his resources on earlier Cyclone production. And into an earlier Starport. Okay. Slightly earlier Starport. So we are kind of taking different paths here in this TvT. On the one side, Maru's going to have a lot of dive potential with this Hellion Reaper. It's going to be 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. But from here, it looks like Maru isn't making any more than that. He's getting into Marine production. Tech Labs on the way, I imagine, for an add-on swap, maybe even getting into Ravens. And I like Spirit's defensive setup. I mean, with the power of that Cyclone, we should be okay. The army is spotted. Spirit taking a lot of hits there on that Hellion. Cyclone is revealed, and Maru is going to have to back off. And we don't lose anything. We don't bleed out Reapers or Hellions. We kind of bounce off each other. Maru pulls back. And because we went for a Cyclone first, Maru already has add-ons, and he's going not for the faster rate. Or, yeah, he's not going for the faster rate, but he's going for the faster tank. Uh-oh, and here comes the medevac. Maru is going to be going for a bit of an earlier, more aggressive push with his first tank. Spirit is going to be the defender. Now, I believe Spirit's tank should come out in time. His tank should barely come out in time. It's going to be close, as Maru's moving out with everything he has. Maru going for Viking production behind this. First tank is almost done. Maru encroaching upon that natural. Sable's on the way for that Raven. We do have an auto turret. Auto turret is going to be forced out. Maru pulling back. Refuses the siege up, just going toe-to-toe with the main army instead. Marines are falling, and it looks like Spirit, he should be able to hold on. He breaks through the Marines, gets on top of the tank, cleans it all up, and Spirit holds. Spirit does hold on. Again, that tank did pop out just in time, and that was a big investment for Maru. Now, Maru at least saves his medevac, but he has lost any kind of tank lead he would have had. So Spirit is now going to be up in tanks. We're going to be going for a CC on location, but it is going to be delayed by the drop. Nice moves here by Maru. Does lay the command center, dropping the hell out of there. As Maru is amassing tank Viking. Now, what's interesting to me is that Maru, he saw the third CC, and there is no third CC from the side of Maru. Not yet, but okay. The SCB is moving in position. He should be expanding. There it is. Maru going for a later command center instead. Risky move here, going for a drop towards that main. There's going to be a Cyclone and a tank. Again, Maru, he's being so aggressive here. This is a risky move. This is an expensive drop. But he does get in. Once again, Vikings zoning away those Ravens. We do pick off one of the Ravens. But when they're disabled, too little too late. We did load up. We did get the hell out of there. Good moves by Maru. And you can see we're still hunting down those Ravens. Trying to come across them. CC is almost done, but it's going to be delayed. Ooh, just in time. We delayed the CC. Tank siege is up. And reinforcements have arrived. More Vikings. Liberator as well. Now, this is not double starport. Like, Maru is not all in by any means. He's going for a longer game. He's getting his expansion behind this. But, oh, that's going to be a brutal cancel. Oh, it was almost done. It was so close. Big cancel here. And suddenly, Maru takes an economic lead. He has a massive lead with his third base timing. Spirit has to rebuild in the main base. Maru slowly encroaching upon that natural. Do you see Spirit going for a double drop? That means he has that much less to defend back at home. Liberation has arrived, and we're getting within range of that natural base. Okay, Spirit, he's coming in first around. He's trying to. Tank volley is going to be going up. I believe Stim is done for Spirit, and we do catch one of those tanks. Yeah, orders us to come in for a big flank. We disable a tank as well. And Spirit breaks free. He breaks free. He kills 2 tanks, I believe. And the Liberator. But the Vikings survive, and Maru, he's not going back home. He's going into the main base, and he forces Spirit back. Oh, boys are being pulled into mass Viking of all things. Tank gets dropped as well. Good juggling here by Maru. He's going to be bleeding out. Ooh, a lot of those Vikings, though. Was that worth it? That was, what, 5 Vikings for 10 SCVs and a Raven. But we did force back the army. We did buy enough time for Maru to build up his tank count and rebuild even those Vikings. And Maru's playing mech. This makes sense. He's been making nothing but tanks and Vikings. We have a second starport on the way. We have a second factory already done. Double armory. Maru is making it happen. Which means we're getting into a longer game. It means that Maru is now turtling up. We have turrets, sensor towers, tank lines. Before they can get up and running, though, Spirit, he's going for a doom drop into the third. The drop has arrived. SCV is going to be going down. Yeah, Maru late to respond, late to react. It's going to be 6 SCVs. Ooh, meanwhile, Spirit, he drops towards the third base. We bleed out 2 full medevacs. Ay, ay, ay. You can see Spirit shake his head on camera, is not happy with that. He threw away so much supply there. And he's being cleaned up. He's going to be cleaned up here. There is no escape. Vikings are landing, but the Vikings are still in the air. We clean up the tanks. We clean up some of the medevacs. Spirit still trying to break Maru. He's now aware of the mech. He now knows. He knows that if he lets up, then Maru is going to snowball out of control. But Spirit has already bled out so much here. Can he break the natural? Tanks are getting within range. BC's on the way for Maru. Let's go. Rushing into battle cruisers. We have seen Maru do this before. Again, Maru does play mech. I wouldn't say often, but, you know, like once or twice in a series. In like a longer extended best of 5 or best of 7. We saw Maru go BC or go mech into BC in GSL. We saw it against TY. This was a couple of seasons ago at this point, to be fair. I think it was like 2 seasons ago. And we see Spirit going for his own fusion core, double starport as well. Scan will reveal that. Oh boy, it's going to be Sky Terran versus Mech. Oh, sorry, yeah. If I remembered, I thought I was reading the wrong name. I just starports. I mean, Spirit is still working on the bio upgrades, but the mass starport is to get into more Vikings, which he will need against BC. That is the answer. Maru has such a Viking lead. Spirit taking a chance, going for a triple drop. Getting his 4th base. Again, Spirit has map control, so he can take advantage of that and expand more freely. Maru, though, is getting his 4th base at a similar timing of Spirit. This should not be happening. BC gets a tank. Oh! Ooh. Gets one. 4th base is spotted. We diving over the BC. A big catch here by Spirit. Does catch a battle cruiser. Soaks the tank shot. Tank goes down. We go for the Ravens. Oh, we go for the Vikings even. We get 1. We get 2. But we do bleed out a lot of those Marines. Spirit has to retreat, which means the 4th base is now under control of Maru. Maru has the better economy. In a mech versus bio kind of setup here, that's terrifying for Spirit. To be down in workers and even on bases. Spirit committed to 5 Viking production. BC rocks up. Is going to get a couple of these tanks for free. Yamato goes off. We get 1. We get 2. Can we get 3 tanks? Uh-oh. Oh, we will get 3 tanks. And we can teleport away this time. Very efficient trade here by Maru. Very nicely done. We can see Maru actually now working towards his own stim. So it looks like he's actually trying to transition out of mech into bio. As Maru's getting stim and +1. That's something you don't see too often. I mean, late game in a lot of matchups can be mech ghost, but this is very different. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Maru's making 7 Marines at a time. Is he reformed? We'll see if he can get there. As he is behind in those bio upgrades. You can see the Spirit is already working on +3. BC will end up getting eyes on some of these fresh bases. Yeah, Spirit does turn back around. I see. So basically what happened here is that Maru, he saw the mass Viking. So he's completely stopped BC production. He was committed earlier, but he has stopped making BCs. He stopped making Vikings. Yeah, you can see here, Spirit has 27 Vikings against the 9 of Maru. Maru, he's just given up on Vikings entirely. He's going for a Marine switch instead. A bio switch. And against mass Viking, this can work out well. Like Maru, he's playing almost like he's a Zerg player. Just tech switching into TvT. That's not something you see. Period. And here we go. We stim on forward. Big anti-armor missile here on the Vikings. And there's no tanks. Oh my god. There's 0 tank production here from Spirit. I mean, he assumed it was going to be a battle of the skies, a battle of the air. And it wasn't. Spirit, he's caught with his pants down. We shut down the base. And Maru, he's snowballing out of control already. Pushing in towards that natural. There's nothing to stop him. The Vikings, they have to land. Liberators are coming from the right-hand side. Big tank volley is going to be going off. And it looks like Spirit, he should be able to clean this up. It's going to be close. He cleans up most of the ground army. Spirit will hold, but he lost the base. And Maru still has a massive lead. He still has a massive supply lead. Now, a lot of that supply is in Ravens, to be fair. Marines stim on forward. They catch more of these Vikings. Big pickoffs here from Maru. He does start us at forward. He gets 3 more Vikings. Only 3 survive. Meanwhile, Spirit, he's trying to get back into tank production. Trying to get back into his tanks. There we go. First tank has arrived. Maru is now aware. But he has Mass Raven to disable those tanks. And he's going for it. There's that disable. Anti-armor missile as well. Yeah, the Marines are stimming on forward. They're getting on top of the Liberators, and Maru, he breaks the defenses of Spirit. And it looks like we will not have an extended series. This was a wild game, though, for Maru to go from Mech into BC, into Mass Viking, to hard switch into Mass Marine, and catch Spirit completely off guard. He had 0 tanks for that first push. He was not expecting Mass Marine at all. And with that, Maru should be able to take this. We can see Spirit trying to hold on to his main base, but here come those disables once again. Sorry, the auto turrets even. Ooh, a lot of Ravens thrown away, but GG gets called and Maru takes it 3-0, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. That was a wild way to end the series, by the way. When was the last time you saw a TvT where one of the players started off going mech and hard switched into bio, into Mass Marine? Like he worked into he threw down like 5 more Raxes, went into +1, rushed into stim. That was wild. GG 吧。
好的，那我们也是对马如选手进行一个简单的一个赛后采访。那刚刚在打第1局比赛的时候，其实你是一个大劣的情况，但当时选择了一波极限翻盘。当时有想过自己能一波打进去吗？有没有想过对手会犯了一个小失误吧？他忘了自己有2辆坦克的一个情况。
일단 제가 불리하기도 했고 이거밖에 없었는데 제가 스캔을 뿌려보니까 바이킹을 안 찍고 있길래 통할 거라고 생각했습니다.
他说他当时在不利的情况下，他只有做出这个选择，然后他撒了一把雷达，发现那个Viking 围巾，他就是没有被点掉，然后他就觉得应该没有问题。
So I understand scan and Viking. I'm curious if he's talking about how he scans, he saw the Mass Viking, so that's when he decided to switch into bio. Like I assume that's the thought process there. Oh, there's Showtime in the background.
재밌어서 하는 것도
He's
있고
getting ready.
승률이 잘 나와가지고 또 계속 시도해보고 있는 것 같습니다.
他说因为这个本来就是转机械化就比较有意思，
Game 1. Oh, I see.
自己胜率也还可以，所以说就这样子。
I see.
是的，最近确实发现他的一个 TvT 的打法风格有所不同了。那最后一个问题，我们想问一下，你接下来要迎战的是修探跟顾命后的一个胜者，你更想跟谁交手呢？
We would appreciate.
구미호 예선자가 있습니다. 그리고 누구가 올라가기 바랍니다.
일단 둘 다 별로 편한 상대는 아니지만 그래도 병재영보다는 쇼타임 선수가 편할 것 같습니다.
Or even a native Korean speaker. He did say
구미호
Showtime.
선수보다는 쇼타임 선수가 좀 편할 것 같습니다.
他说就是2个选手都不是很好打，但是他觉得比起顾密户来说，还是打 Showtime 压力没有那么大。
好的，也是祝愿你在接下来的比赛里面一路顺利。那马如的表现非常精彩，我们在场的观众朋友们再把一些掌声送给他好吗？好的，也是期待在接下来的比赛里面有好的发挥。那接下来把画面先交回给我们最专业的解说席。
Thank you. I think they asked him like who would he like prefer to face off against, like Showtime or Gumiho. He did say Showtime, so maybe he said that he prefers to face off against Showtime. Maybe he said that he doesn't want to play against Showtime. I don't know. Regardless, did hear some nice words there from Maru. He's afraid of Gumiho, not Showtime. There you go. So he was probably saying that he preferred to face off against Showtime instead of Gumiho, which makes sense. Like in the TvT matchup, like Gumiho is a beast, and is a bit of a specialist as well. So understandable. Regardless, I believe we're going to be going on a short break. I believe there's going to be a short break here because we wrapped up with our first series. We have 3 more ahead of us, and we have Showtime versus Gumiho coming up next in a Protoss versus Terran. And just briefly mentioning about that previous game as well, I mean, it was a wild game overall. I mean, we were able to get into a longer game at least, into a more macro-oriented setup there with more bases, of course. But again, the tech switching from Maru was very unorthodox and really impressive, just because you rarely see it. And I wish they asked him about it. Like, thanks for like a little bit of insight as to what they were saying in the chat. But it would have been really cool if he was asked about Game 3 specifically, and whether he does that often, whether that's that was like more off the cuff, what the theory or the thought process was behind going for that kind of style and composition after Mech and BC. Like, it was crazy. So I feel like it deserved to be addressed. Regardless, GG, well played. And with that, it looks like we are going to be going on that short break. So again, when we return, we will have our Protoss versus Terran, Showtime versus Gumiho. If you're in the chat, predictions will soon be open for that series. Let me just quickly pay out predictions for what we had. There we go. And we'll see you guys soon after the break. See you soon. See you soon.